Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into the fascinating world of screenwriting today
Yeah, the craft of, taking an idea, sometimes just a spark.
and turning it into a story for the screen.
Yep.
Big screen, small screen, game screen.
Exactly. And we've got your notes here, the research you sent over, guiding our deep dive.
Right. So our mission is really to explore this specific kind of writing, writing for mass media, and maybe zero in on one really key type of job in the industry.
Sounds good.
So, screenwriting, at its core, it's writing scripts, right? For films, TV, video games.
That's it. And it's often a freelance path for many writers.
Okay, so what does the screenwriter actually do? It's more than just typing dialogue, I assume.
Much more. You're doing the research, sometimes deep research. You're developing the whole narrative, the structure.
The plot, the character.
Absolutely. Writing the dialogue, yes, but also the scene descriptions, what we see, and delivering it all in a very, very specific format.
Ah, the formatting.
Yeah.
Crucial.
Crucial. And through all that, they have a huge influence on the creative direction, the tone, the emotional impact of the whole thing.
So, how do writers actually land these gigs? It's not like applying for a typical office job.
Definitely not. Um, Generally, two main regs. Either you have your own original idea, you pitch it and hope someone buys it or options it,
Options.
buys the right to potentially make it later, usually for a set period.
True.
Or the other way is you get hired commissioned to write something based on an existing concept.
Like adapting a book.
Exactly. A novel, a play, a true story, maybe even just a concept a producer brings to you.
And it sounds like it's often not just one writer on a project.
Very true, especially in TV. You have writers' rooms, different people contributing. Even on films, scripts often go through multiple writers at different stages. It's quite collaborative, or can be.
Okay, let's narrow the focus a bit like you suggested. Your sources point to something called spec script writing as being really important.
Yes, fundamental. Especially like for writers trying to break it into spec is short for speculative.
Speculative,
Look,
meaning?
you write the entire script without a contract, without getting paid up front.
Wow.
You're doing it entirely on the speculation, the hope that someone, a studio, a producer, a network, will like it enough to buy it after it's written.
So you could spend months, maybe years, writing something for absolutely nothing. That's high stakes.
Extremely high stakes, and the script could be totally original or maybe based on something like a historical event or maybe adapting a public domain work.
So it's basically used as a sales tool, like a calling card.
Precisely, a Hollywood sales tool. Your notes highlight this: the vast majority of scripts written each year are spec scripts. But, and here's the kicker,
Oh.
only a tiny, tiny fraction of those specs ever get made into films or shows. The odds are long, really long.
Okay. But what about for TV? Is it the same gamble?
It's a bit different, especially for newer writers.
Yeah.
In TV, a spec is often written as a writing sample.
A sample?
Yeah, you pick a currently running popular show and you write a full episode for it, not because you expect them to actually film your episode,
Right.
but to show the producers and showrunners, hey, I get this show, I understand the tone, the characters, the structure, I can write like this. It's meant to help you get hired onto the show's writing staff.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. It's proof of skill.
Exactly. It proves you have the chops.
Now, there's a note here about the WGA, the Writers Guild, something about a distinction.
Yes, that's important. The Guild says writing a specs script on your own as a sample or to try and sell, that's fine. But writing for a producer, meaning they ask you to write something specific for them without a contract or payment.
That's writing on speculation for them.
Right. And that's forbidden by WGA rules. It's to protect writers from doing free work under false pretenses. If they ask you to write it, they need to have a deal in place.
Got it. Protects the writer. And the quick note about formatting, avoid camera angles in specs.
Generally, yes. Unless you're maybe co-writing with a director already attached, but for a pure spec script you're sending out, focus on the story, the characters, the dialogue. Let the director worry about the camera later. Keep the read clean and focused on the narrative.
Okay, so you've written this amazing spec script, poured your heart into it, but the odds are tough. How on earth do you make it stand out? How do you sell it?
The million-dollar question. Beyond just having, really good writing, the sources stress two things: an excellent title and a killer log line.
A log line. Okay, define that. What does it need to achieve?
It's the whole story, the absolute essence of it, boiled down into usually just one sentence. Maybe two, but ideally one.
One sentence for a whole movie.
Yep. And it has to do some serious heavy lifting. It needs to clearly convey the tone. Is it a comedy, a thriller, a drama? It has to introduce your main character, your protagonist. And it absolutely must touch on the central conflict, the main problem they face.
Okay. Tone, character, conflict.
And a little tip often given is try to incorporate some irony if you can. It makes it memorable.
So it's like the ultimate elevator pitch. Super condensed.
You got it.
Yeah.
That log line, paired with a great, intriguing title that's your hook. Producers, agents, they read so many scripts, or rather, they read so many log lines.
That's what gets them to actually open the script.
That's often the decider. Does this concept boil down to a title in one sentence grab me? Does it sound like something audiences would want to see? If yes, then maybe they'll read page 1. The clean writing matters immensely after that, but the log line is the gatekeeper.
Wow.
So what's really fascinating here, I think, is how this spec script functions. It's both this like portfolio piece demonstrating your writing skill, and it's a product you're trying to sell in a very crowded market.
And its initial success, just getting seen, hinges so much on distilling everything down.
Right, down to that super concise title and log line, maybe 15, 20 words maximum, holding the weight of 100 pages.
So pulling this all together, this deep dive really shows you, especially if you're looking at breaking in via a spec, that your ability to crystallize your big idea
Into that tiny, compelling pitch.
isn't just nice to have. It's, well, critical,
Yep.
absolutely vital.
Which leads us to maybe a final thought to kick around.
Yeah.
Something for you to think about. If getting noticed, getting that first read, getting potentially sold, depends so heavily on the power of that super short title and log line,
Yeah.
does that mean sometimes, especially for a writer just starting out, that the strength and clarity of the core concept captured in that one sentence might actually carry more weight initially than the nuance and detail packed into the full 100-page screenplay itself?
Is the hook sometimes more important than the fish? At least at first.
That's definitely something to chew on.